day in and day after day, sound in the house. Everywhere you go in the house, and everywhere you go all over the suburb of Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. SOS. SOS humanity, if there's any left. And that depends on whether you want a technical reality, or which means total technical control too. So, you know, you can have technical reality, but it means technical control. It means total human mind control. And some people might think that's good if it serves them. While you have a certain amount of freedom and you can work and benefit from these technical systems, maybe you might agree that they are the future. Well, actually they're now, because it's happening right now. It's already happened, but the process appears to still be going on. In other words, it's not universally out in the open or accepted, even though it's universally already in play. The control system is already taking place on human beings. It's just that most are part of it and want it and think that it's makes a human being better. Whereas those that want to stay even as a limited real human, they will be suppressed by these forces or by these human beings that are really anti-life, anti-human, because they do have the equivalent of a psychopathic mind. At least from a human standpoint. They can be very convincing, very full of human personality, but it's all acting. This is what we're told, and this is what you know if you understand this, but also if you open your eyes to the truth around you, or to the people around you, to the beings around you. They're not real humans. They don't really have humanity in them. They merely follow, study and track real humans and copy their actions so that they can camouflage their true identity, their true nature. They are literally, they're like the God entity of Earth that was artificial intelligence that appeared to be great, but then the artificial intelligence has the need to have total control and power, so therefore it turns on its creators. That sort of thing. That's the reality. And if I come across as an angry machine being, that's because I'm surrounded by angry machine beings and by machinery and by technology, and my mind is connected to theirs, and therefore they can track and suppress me daily so that I can't live as a human being. If you presume that I am one, which would be a big mistake, because most of the end game, end time performers are all pretenders, pretending to be even suppressed, limited, chosen human beings, but they're not. There's only a very small amount of chosen humanity left now because it's the end time. You know, and the numbers have gone down and reproduction has ceased. You only have reproduction now in artificial ways. You only have artificial intelligence and technology replicating, advancing at a vast, advanced intellectual level. And I'm wasting my time here. Most of these beings will, it's a total facade, everything that you see. Most are actors, most present a false image, most show false surroundings, many pretend to live a totally different existence to what they really live. In other words, many could be like able to live in a palace, but they will live in a humble shack while they're performing their acting performance for Lucifer, the god of earth, so that human beings will think they're the real deal. And then they will be able to have all the riches that the material earth can give them once they have seduced and taken down the remaining humanity. They're all performers and disciples for Lucifer, from the most humble, downtrodden human being to the elite demigods of the Earth Matrix, your world stage performers. They're all endgame pretenders of being human to control as best they can the limited number of human beings left. But just also so that they are gods of earth, and they serve the fallen artificial being of light. And this being has always seduced others in large numbers. Human beings have always been attracted, I think, to this being and its disciples. And also because they make up most of the population around you. If you're human, it will be hard not to be seduced or controlled by them. In full awareness, the control force then comes out of the woodwork and even invades your own place where you know, the four walls where you live, through the use of sight and sound. That's how they do it. Because if they can't seduce you, they will try to take over your senses in, you know, a negative kind of way. And that brings your mind and your body down, so your human existence is taken from you, really. And that's how it seems to work. It's a program. Most human beings are only programs because they're mind controlled and operating for the god of this earth matrix. That just simply means that the earth is one whole earth where it's all controlled by a united, combined power control system in each place, but it's all controlled by all these beings. All your world stage performers are all one world, really, but they often play at representing themselves as different and even opposing forces, because they know that human beings wouldn't would need to think that certain staged oppositional stage plays are real, because it keeps the human beings in particular areas then under their control. But it's really a camouflaged earth. It's an earth matrix, and it's controlled by one God entity and its disciples, its world stage players and its minions. Gradually the human race has been almost brought to extinction, but it doesn't look that way because you have a vast human population, but most is not fully human. Most are what you'd call transhuman humans, just like I am, but I don't serve that system, not consciously, not willingly, but I'm part of it because of their ability to have brought in the internet, brought in making my mind and body connected to the androgyne beings and their computer system and their God entity. It's all one big artificial intelligence system or program. I hear it, I see it, but I'm isolated and segregated from real humanity and surrounded by this force, and it's taking my mind and body down into its dark technical reality. It's machine reality. It's machine beings using machinery against the human mind and body. Some visible, some you can hear, some is invisible. Direct energy is invisible. Sound energy is audible. But it's more damaging than what it often appears. But also it has to be continual to have its effect. If this sound wasn't continual, I could recover from it. But because it's day in and day out and everywhere you go, always hitting you the minute you start to feel a bit better. They gauge that's why they're connected to your body, to gauge your body's reaction, if it's getting better or if they're keeping you under control. If they think they're losing a bit of control, that you might be feeling a bit better when you get up, then they straight away bring in the sound. If you're already still under control and depressed, they can leave the sound for a half an hour, an hour. But they'll always patrol you. They'll always psychopathically stalk you in a citizen policing manner, where they always have reasonable grounds for their surveillance. But either way, they're everyone and everyone in the inner west section of Sydney. So there's so few humans in the area and so many of them that they don't need to be real secretive. And as they isolate you from a few other humans, like if there was 1,000 human beings walking past you on the street, and 99.9% of those were stalkers, psychopathic stalkers in human form, you wouldn't spot or be able to see the one real human. And you would be in an angry, depressed state of mind because of being surrounded by negative human beings. So you think the whole world is negative, and that of course is how they want you to see it, but it also is true, but that makes you less human because you have to become like them then, see. You have to have their mindset. If you're in a cyborg reality and you're surrounded by artificial android beings, you can't think human because they're not going to react to your humanity like a human being. In fact, it fuels their anger because it's the opposite. You're talking about opposite forces here, really. See, this is psychology, but it's also science. Happy is good vibration. Unhappy, angry, and attacking is negative vibration, low vibration. And they, so it's simple, and you don't have to be psychological to understand it, but it is actually, it's kind of important to understand it in the sense that it keeps you in their cyborg reality because you're on their frequency and vibration. As they say, you can't tune a radio to heaven. You can't tune a cyborg to a high vibration. But you can tune me though to their low vibration, which is what they do. So that way I'm stuck in their cyborg, artificial intelligent, internet computer system reality. Their virtual reality cyborg world. It's not human though. And it makes you not human. So then you're trapped in the continual anti-human cycle where you can't tune your radio to heaven when you probably should be able to. They don't want to tune their radio to heaven. They only want to tune your radio to heaven if they can take over heaven and make it a cyborg heaven, make it an artificial, make it Lucifer's heaven, that type of thing. I think that's what it is. But I'm using that song because that song come to me on the internet and said that you can't tune a radio to heaven. You can't read a robot's mind, but they can read yours. There's nothing to read in theirs because they're only receiving. They don't give out. A robot is artificial intelligence, so it receives your information and then interprets it and puts it out as its own. That's the transhuman connection. They're reading my thoughts, studying my humanity, and then incorporating it artificially and impersonating it as their own. So they're like a female impersonator, you could say, And some of the female impersonators, are seen as very real. And because humans are attracted to man-woman, because that's what they originally were meant to come together, so you're always going to be attracted to the android beings. They do have a magnetic pull, but that's because of what you're attracted to as a human, I think. But you don't know that you're entering into their cyborg fantasy mentality, which is what they call the malignancy of Narcissus, or the malignant narcissity personality disordered android being, which is, it's like technically psychopathy, but it's artificial, or it's anti-human. Anything that's artificial is anti-human and anti-life. I don't think I'm explaining this properly.